Hi, it's Mark Bossert from Top Local Lead Generation. We're here with Mr. David Fairbairn of Fairbairn Inspections in Vancouver, talking about mold. How are you doing today, David?
Oh, Mark, I'm ready to talk about mold today.
Great. Such
Hope
a
you're looking
thrill.
forward to some mold.
Mold sandwich. Uh,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so the question you wanted, and this is funnily enough, the question I asked you last week is, why is there mold on my windows?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about mold on Windows. This is probably one of the most asked questions, and yourself included. I think we were chatting before the Hangout, and you were actually saying, I got some mold on my Windows. What's going on? So I said, okay, let's do a talk on this and explain what's actually happening. I'd like to maybe share the screen, Mark. Is that okay?
Yep.
I'm just going to pull up some photos. I actually have some photos from various places. So I'm just going to put it up on the full screen here. I don't know if you can see that.
Can see that.
Okay, we got some mold on this window here. Now this is a photo of probably you've seen a lot of houses like this. So what's going on with this? This kind of mold, it can look pretty scary when you first pull back your drapes and you're looking at your window and you're going, why? First of all, it's black, and anybody who's watched TV or read any articles on home improvement, you're going to hear the term toxic black mold. I get asked this a lot: is this black mold? The first thing I want to get out of the way is that black mold is the wrong name for it. They're talking about a certain species of mold called Stachybotrys, and it's actually not always black. It can come in different colors. It can come in blue. I want to get out of the way that you can't actually tell what kind of mold you have unless you actually take it to a lab and sample it. We know what common types of mold we have indoors, so we can usually sort of guess it's between three different species. But if you ever have any doubts, just as a disclaimer, always call a certified mold specialist who can come out and assist you with your problem before you go jumping to any conclusions. Anyways, we got this mold growing on the window here. Basically, what we have is, if you think about a house, you've got a window which is going to be probably the coldest spot on your wall. So first of all, it's on the exterior walls. Second of all, a lot of heat loss through windows, right? This one here, we got an aluminum frame. I believe it's an aluminum frame window. So we're probably, it's probably a chilly day, and we've got a high indoor either temperature and or humidity, right? Mold on windows, I'm going to go ahead straight away and say that 99% of the mold on windows problems is going to be coming from indoor humidity. So you got a lot of areas where humidity and moisture can originate in the home, and those big ones, the number one is going to be your shower. Your shower is going to generate a lot of moisture, and cooking. If you're cooking pasta, you're going to be sending a lot of water and steam and vapor into the air, and your moisture floating around the air is going to settle on the coldest spot. Just like when you take a can of Coke out of the fridge and it gets frosty, right?
Yep.
So that's the same concept here, is that we're creating condensation, and windows are hotspots for condensation because they're so cold. We're looking at that. So basically, what the first step you can do to prevent moisture on windows is to ventilate your house properly. So this is point one. You're going to ventilate the house properly. So how is the moisture getting out of the house? Is it clinging to the windows, or is it being ventilated properly? So let's look at a few options for ventilating a home. So our most obvious, option here is that we got a bathroom fan. And unless you live in a kind of an older house that's never been updated, or you've never renovated the bathroom, you probably have one of these in your home. And basically, we're going to want to make sure that that fan is running not only when you have a shower, but in some cases, we're going to want to have it run for quite a while after you have the shower. So, if you go to a newer home, I think yours is actually quite new. You've got an 8-year-old home. We're actually going to want to run that fan for, I believe the building code actually requests that it run for 8 hours in every 24-hour period. So you may actually have a timer on your fan, or in some areas we may actually have the fan hardwired to run 24 hours a day. Because as the houses get newer, the draft is reduced. You've got a tighter house, you've got a more weather-resistant house, and there's not as much in the way of fresh air flowing through the house. So you're going to have to mechanically ventilate it, and that's our number one way to do that. So we're going to go to this one here. This is a control that you see a lot in our area in Vancouver. This is a humidistat. So what this does, this was used a lot during the 90s, is that it will actually read the relative humidity inside the house, and it will click on the bathroom fan to exhaust the air out of the house when it goes over a certain threshold. So this one here is actually turned fully on. I don't think they realized it was all the way on when they took the picture, but we're going to, the recommended setting for these that we usually see is about 40 to 50% relative humidity. So you're going to set it between 40 to 50, and when you shower and when you cook, it's naturally going to turn on the bathroom fan. Now, these kind of are extinct now in our area in new construction because our requirements are just a little bit higher, and we're actually having to run the fan for a set period of time. So here's a way you can avoid moisture problems in windows. This is this mess of lines here. This is a cross section of what's called a thermally broken window. Now, in the olden days, we didn't have what's called a thermally broken window. It would just be you've got the glass sitting in a metal frame, and there's the metal is connected all the way through underneath the glass, and you're transferring heat underneath the window very effectively outside, and you're cooling off the window, right? So same thing, you put a spoon in a hot bowl of soup, and the spoon gets hot. That's convection. You're losing heat across the material. So now what we're doing is we got our thermally broken windows. This is kind of a newer style of window, and if we see that you've actually got this polyamide thermal strips that are actually separating the frame, and you're actually breaking the frame in half. You've got these, and they have absolutely no or very little thermal transfer. So they're keeping the inside of the window warm and the outside cold, and you've got this break. So you can imagine the condensation would be quite a bit lower on this style of window. Okay, so if we go a little bit further, I'm just going to show you, this is a microscopic shot of some mold growing. And the type of mold this is called cladosporium. Now, cladosporium is a very, very common indoor mold. And when you see mildew, and mildew is just it's a type of mold. A lot of the time you can get mildew, and it's going to be, what's called cladosporium. And cladosporium grows anywhere that you've got warm, sort of wet conditions. You see it a lot on growing on, towels, cheese, bread, things like that. So it's a common indoor mold, and this is actually, under a microscope, this is how they identify the type of mold you have. So one last thing I'm just going to show you. With our bathroom fans, if you're going to install bathroom fans, it's just a reminder that you don't want to install too powerful of a bathroom fan, because you can actually pull the heat out of your house. And if you install a bathroom fan that's oversized for your bathroom, you can increase your heating bills quite a bit. So the calculation that we use is take the square footage of the bathroom and multiply it by 1.07. Which gives us, it's usually slightly larger than the square footage of the bathroom. So if you've got an 80 square foot bathroom, you're probably going to want to put a 90 CFM, which is cubic feet per minute, bathroom fan into the bathroom. And that's going to properly ventilate your bathroom. So, if I was to summarize what's causing mold on windows, interior moisture conditions are going to account for almost all of it. And if you can properly ventilate your home, you can prevent that problem. And the last thing I'll leave you with is, if you need to remove any mold from your windows, technically you should be calling a mold removal or abatement company. But if you want to do it at home, the CDC recommends 1 part bleach to 10 parts water mixture, and you put that into a little spray bottle, spray it along the bottom edge of your window, and clean it off and repeat as necessary. And that is one way to remove the mold. And if it returns, then you should call somebody. So that is what causes mold in windows. If you have a problem, please give me a call. I'd be happy to take a look at it. We can do sampling. We can take a swab test. We can test the air in your home. There's just a myriad tests that we can actually do to make sure that you have a healthy home.
Awesome stuff, David. So just to clarify, you're a certified mold specialist as well as doing home inspections, is that right?
That's correct, yeah. So we do both residential, commercial inspections for property purchase, and then of course the mold division, where we do indoor air quality testing. We can do consulting if you have a leak or a flood. You need post or pre-remediation consulting. We can do that as well. Just give us a call. We'll be happy to give you a quote.
Awesome. So 1 part bleach to 10 parts water for window mold to clean it up ourselves and get the fans running.
There you go, Mark. Yeah, you got a project for this afternoon, I think, eh?
Well, we've been running the fans a lot. It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So that pretty much sums it up. We're going to explore mold a whole bunch more with David over the next few weeks. So come back and see us. And if you want to get a hold of him, fairbairninspections.com. There's tons of information on his website. Or give him a call, 604-395-2795. Thanks a lot, David.
Thanks, Mark. Talk to you soon.
You bet.